Don't just like 0 to 100.
Well,
Good
you know
luck.
I don't have. Yeah. Like,
Good luck
I don't
to-
have that much control.
Good luck to Kyle.
Over the way I talk.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Weddings Uncensored, where we drink and talk and drink. I'm Kyle.
And I am Allie. And we are here talking about the good, the bad, and the downright crazy of this whole wedding industry. Cheers. Cheers. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
We are back in Le Studio recording a new episode.
Yeah, let's go.
Happy to be here.
We got the podcast, like, official audio. Technically Rode is great because Rode did the audio for the hand ones that we do. But we
have the more proper.
But we got the proper ones, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to do a better job for our listeners. So I hope you all enjoy better audio moving forward.
Our dear fans, you have spoken and we are listening, and you are saying that my voice is annoying. Well, there's nothing I can do about that.
Well,
but we can try to make the audio quality as good as can be. So
yes, 100%.
That's all I can promise.
Good luck to me for the levels of going up and down through the next hour.
Yeah, I mean, I may be the pretty face, but you really deserve. You're the brains behind this operation.
Oh, fake. Just the editing. No. You're the brains for a lot of the other stuff.
No, you're the brains.
No, you're the brains. Okay, stop it. What are we talking about today?
Today we are. I mean, we're still pretty early in this year. Beginning of booking season. People are doing their research. So we are going to talk about 2025 trends according to
Chat
GPT.
I like it.
Which is actually funny because I don't use ChatGPT at all.
I use ChatGPT for everything.
I know.
Just like we did for this episode.
Well, yeah, I know. But and I feel like I'm really behind the times, which is actually very on brand for me because I was like the last person to get on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I still don't have a TikTok.
Yep.
I'm like kind of a Luddite when it comes to technology. And I need to get on the ChatGPT wagon.
Once you have used it and then you start really seeing how
good it is,
efficient your life can be, or how quickly you can get an answer that is more abstract than Googling it,
right?
Then you'll start using it more.
Yeah.
Like I use it for all sorts of stuff, whether if it is I want to figure out, can you help me with a grocery list for the week?
Right.
And I have this budget and I want to eat these things, to, hey, I need a marketing campaign for Shore and Wave or Weddings Uncensored or whatever it is.
It's fascinating.
It's amazing. Or answering my son's questions. Anyway,
right.
Use it for Weddings Uncensored or weddings.
Homework would be like the best thing.
Dude, seriously.
You
can take a picture of shit and then send it to ChatGPT and then say, solve this problem or help me with this or explain it to me like a 5-year-old. Like it's...
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
it's great.
Well, this is what ChatGPT says about the wedding industry and trends in 2025.
Let's
and
get it.
We're gonna see what the robot says, and then we're gonna see what Allie and Kyle say. I don't know. I imagine ChatGPT just being this like tiny little robot, like working like overtime.
It's you know what it reminds me of? ChatGPT reminds me of that worm.
He's a cute robot.
The worm from Wreck-It Ralph 2.
I haven't.
I know. Anyway, it's a librarian.
Yeah.
And he's the librarian of the world
like a nerdy,
wide
but
web.
like a cute, like little wormy robot. Okay, that's what I'm going to imagine.
He's not really cute, but
he's not cute.
He's kind of rude.
In my head, well, he's probably rude. That makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway,
anyway,
let's get to it.
Now that we've personified ChatGPT, we are going to get into a few of the trends shaping weddings this year. And I will say, as kind of a
disclaimer?
No. As a summary, what ChatGPT says, which I like, he says, these trends reflect a shift towards personalization, sustainability, and creating meaningful experiences that authentically represent each couple's unique journey. And I think that I like that because I think that is kind of what we say about weddings.
Yes.
And kind of what our philosophy and mission is here at Weddings Uncensored is personalization, creating meaningful experiences, authenticity. Like these are what we're looking for. So whether it's big budget, small budget, they get into all these crazy themes and stuff. It's that message of authenticity that I think is really important.
Yeah, I think it does understand, or I think it is online of make it how you want it.
Yeah.
And there aren't a million rules.
Right.
But there are things that a lot of people are doing that you may want to also do.
Yeah.
Now, some of these, we did take a look before. Some of these are okay. Some of them are not.
Some of them are not, but that's
not.
Okay.
That's
Robots don't have all the answers, okay?
No. This is why you hire professionals or you listen to professionals. It's all good, though.
I love it. Okay, so the first thing that they talk about is personalized and non-traditional ceremonies. Couples are moving away from traditional formats, opting for ceremonies that reflect their unique identities and values. This includes customizing vows and incorporating personal stories. So I like this, and I like that it was listed first because I still do feel like the ceremony can be an afterthought of the wedding.
Yes.
People are very much focused on their photography, on their DJ, on their flowers, their dresses, all those, which is all important. Don't get me wrong. But the ceremony is what we're there for, is like the getting married part.
The point of the day was the ceremony.
Yeah.
Is the ceremony.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we do have a couple of episodes with a couple of wonderful professionals. Our officiant episode with Nico from Romcom Weddings and a vows and speeches writer with Brian from vowsandspeeches.com. So you can refer to those to like hear a little bit more. But I think a couple of messages are like, the ceremony is the first thing that the guests are experiencing, and it is going to set the tone for the day. So why not make it
impression?
Yeah. I mean, so why not make it cool? Why not make it fun? Why not make it, or even if it's not fun, maybe it's very serious and dramatic, or maybe it's, whatever. I don't really care, but like it should be an opportunity, and it should be something that you're spending some time planning.
Yeah. If you can make it fun. Now, sometimes like the things that I like in the trends and the ceremonies that I've seen are like grandma as the flower girl recently. That was cool.
Yeah.
Or like the groomsmen, throwing or giving shots to people on the aisle. So there's like totally outside, you can think outside the box of your ceremony. Different things that you want to incorporate or how you can make it a little bit fun or a little bit more you.
Totally. So. Yeah. How you're walking down the aisle. Maybe it's just your music choices. Like, it doesn't have to be something so crazy. Like, you don't have to have the tequila shots down the aisle, especially if you're getting married in a church or, it doesn't always have to be like that. But how can you put a little bit more of your personality into your ceremony?
And it doesn't have to just be the music. It can be who is officiating.
Right.
It can be, I'm trying to think of like there are other like little ceremonies that people do,
like
the
unity ceremonies,
or the
like
unity,
within it,
or things like that. Like, you can take a traditional event and make it your own.
Right.
Like one wedding I did when I first started actually was one of those unity things, and so instead of them having a unity like sand, they did a unity drink.
Yeah.
And so one had like a stout, and one had an ale or something like that, and they mixed the drinks. I don't think it tasted great, but they both had their favorite drinks together, and they shared a drink together.
Totally.
So you can flip it.
A long time ago, there was a wedding where they had a unity smoothie, and they had a full-on Vitamix.
That's sick. Yeah, that's dope.
No, it was fucking weird, but funny,
I mean, that leans into
the Vitamix, like, the loudest appliance you could possibly have, but it's pretty funny.
Please tell me they had a videographer. That would be the intro to the film.
I know.
Is literally someone just clicking a blender and saying
making a green smoothie.
Yeah, exactly. And explaining the ceremony. That would be the beginning.
I love
That's awesome though. That's super cool.
But so whatever works for you, but I do think people need to put a little bit of focus on the ceremony and what that part of the day actually means, Number 2 is extended wedding celebrations. So multi-day events with pre- and post-wedding activities like welcome parties and brunches, allowing more quality time with guests. So I mean, that's like ideal, right? If you have...
Ideal is you spend so much time with all of your guests, and you have all of the downtime to relax, to dance, to play, to chat, to catch up.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Of
course.
If you have the budget, you should plan a multi-day event.
Seriously.
I think that's definitely like not very inclusive to most couples that are planning and that are on a budget. And it's like you're planning this big event and now you have to do a next day brunch and a welcome reception. Like that's 3 events that you're now planning, triple your budget. Like it's pretty wild. But I do obviously, I mean, if you can, I think that that's really special, especially if you're asking guests to travel or, kind of really go out of their way. But I think the real like point of that one is like how do we spend more quality time with our guests?
Yeah.
How can I arrange the timeline so that, you know, I'm not feeling so rushed? Or maybe just creating like a special experience for guests.
Yeah.
Because if it's not reasonable that it's 5 days long and you can't host all of these things, how can I make it so that they feel welcomed and, you know, like part of the ceremony or part of the celebration?
That honestly makes me even think too of when we talk about how much time you want to spend doing X, Y, and Z on your wedding day and honing your vision. I think one of the things to add is how much time do you actually want to spend with each guest that goes to your wedding?
Yeah.
Is it 1 minute? Is it 2 to 3 minutes? Like it sounds kind of weird when you put a number to how much time do you want to spend with per person, but like your wedding day is full of shit that needs to get done or things that you want to get done. And your guests, if you want them to have an experience where you want them to be able to remember like a good conversation with you and that's important to you, one, I would say have less people at your wedding for sure.
That's a good tip.
Because you may not be able to change the amount of time that you spend with each person. If you don't have the budget to have a 5-day wedding where you can have 30-minute conversations with all of your guests.
Yeah, hanging by the pool the day before.
Yeah. If that's really important to you, then I would say probably a destination wedding would be your best bet where you kind of almost force people to not go.
Yeah,
you know?
Keep it really small.
Keep it really
You're
small.
You're forcing it to keep it really small.
100%. But if you know the party and the wedding day that you want is going to be a local wedding and you're going to have 200 to 300 or more people, even 150 people or more, just know that your interactions with all of the guests that are not in your bridal party or immediate family, you will probably spend, 15 seconds to 2 minutes with them on the whole day. Yeah. The whole day. Like you might see some people for the first time after the ceremony because you're not paying attention to who's in the ceremony. You're not paying attention at all. So it's like, if you do want to prioritize quality time with your guests, have less people. 100%.
Have less people and then, structure your timeline so that there is more opportunities. If you're packing your timeline full of all these traditions you don't care about, that's less time to mingle. That's less time for your guests to even enjoy because they're like, oh, okay, there's a bouquet toss, there's a cake. Blah, blah, blah. They're not even enjoying their quality time.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think I want to mention about that is if there is an option to do a welcome reception or a next day brunch, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to host these events, meaning pay for them. Yeah. Obviously, you can't force people into going, but it can be as simple as, hey, the next day, meet at this local bar, coffee shop, whatever. We're going to be there from 10 a.m. to 1. We'd love for you to swing by on your way out of town. Yeah. Or we're going to be at this bar the night before from this time to this time. Maybe you even host we'll pay up to $500 on the tab and once it goes over that. So I think there are ways to extend the celebration without it being so expensive also.
True. There is super actually weirdly timing conversation because yesterday I just had a timeline consultation with a couple that I'm shooting on Saturday. It's a 12-hour day. And there's a gap between the ceremony which ends around 1:15, and they don't need to be at the reception until 4 o'clock.
Right.
And they called me and they were like, oh, so what do we need to do and where are we gonna go? I said, guys, this it doesn't work like that. I'm like, this is your wedding day.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Want to do during that time?
What do you want to do? I was like, you're not gonna want to walk around and take photos
for 3 hours.
For 3 hours.
No.
I don't want to walk around and take photos for 3 hours. What do you want to do? What gets you actually excited? Because they just had the thought of we have this time. They don't have a full coordinator or a full planner. Yeah. So I'll preface it with that. They probably would have known more about this had they had it. But we're here and we're dealing with it. Yeah. But now I was just giving them ideas. I'm like, guys, do you have anything sentimental in the area that connected you to? We can go walk around over there and take a couple pictures. But after that, go have a little date. Go have fun. You can invite whoever you want to. You can invite nobody.
Yeah, and spend some time just the two of you. What a special opportunity on a wedding day. You never get that.
I literally was like, guys, I'm clapping for you right now.
Yeah.
You unintentionally have a great opportunity in
front
of you. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
So I threw out a couple ideas and I was like, what stands out to you? And they were like, I would suggest doing something that is more relaxing because you still have a long day.
Yeah.
So don't do anything crazy. Like we're not going on hikes and shit.
No.
I was like, but you can get food. I said, you guys can get boba. And the lights started going off and they were like, oh my God, I love In-N-Out. And there's an In-N-Out right next door.
I love that.
And I was like, cool, it sounds good. I was like, we can go to In-N-Out. And I'm like, do you guys want something to drink? Do you like the milkshakes over there? And I was like, they were like, we might actually go get boba first. And I was like, bomb. I said, guys, I just want to be with you and the camera and just go have fun. You're going to remember those photos forever.
Those are going to be the best photos.
Those are going to be better than any fucking portrait photos I'm going to get.
Totally.
Personally, that's what I think. Is like the photos of you just at In-N-Out hanging out with each other. With a fucking boba. That's going to be fire. Yeah. And you had fun.
Yeah. I love that. That's true.
So,
thinking about all of those pieces and how to enjoy your guest experience and also your experience for the day.
Yes,
so,
1,000,000,000%.
I love that.
1,000,000,000%.
Okay. Next up, we have budget-friendly weddings, which this is interesting because I think there's another one where it says like extravagant affairs. So both budget-friendly weddings and extravagant affairs are trends in 2025. But I do think a lot of folks are looking at weddings in a little bit more practical of a mindset. Like, we're not going to go into debt over this. Obviously we talk about prioritizing, honing your vision and that kind of stuff. But like, how can we be reasonable and look at this back 5 years from now and still say, wow, that was such a great celebration. But I'm glad we didn't spend $200,000, you know? Mm-hmm. But I did think this was funny. So it says, couples are finding creative ways to reduce costs, such as hosting brunch weddings, which is a great idea. Daytime does help. Midweek ceremonies, which again, that is a great cost-saving tip. Or even selling tickets to their events. Significantly cutting expenses.
So
selling tickets.
So we're talking about selling tickets at a wedding.
To their wedding.
To their wedding. Like you gotta pay to get there.
Yeah.
Well, you can just if I get an invite to your wedding and I gotta pay to get in,
I would die.
I think I would be okay with paying to go, as long as I'm not getting you shit. I'm not giving you a gift. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
Because sometimes I
guess it's the same. 6 or 1/2 dozen.
Yeah. Because I'm like, either way, I'm gonna buy you something. Something that you thought you wanted on your registry because I got you know what I'm saying? Like on the invite. So like whoever you're inviting normally, I think is gonna want to contribute some way to like, they're giving you cash as a thing or whatever. Yeah. Or they're buying a gift.
But
if that means I'm investing in your wedding and saving you some money, then sure, why not? It is what it is. But don't ask for a gift. I'm not getting you shit.
I think it's fucking weird. Nova, who is a lifestyle influencer from the Bronx, said that we sold tickets to our wedding, slapping a price tag of $333 per person.
That's a lot.
On invitations to their June 2023 nuptials. Chopped the guest list down to 60 paying partygoers. They had invited 200 and only 60 said that they were going to go.
But I bet they had a blast. Did they have a blast?
It doesn't. Well, I mean, of course they're going to say that they had fun. It saved the newlyweds a whopping $70,000, funds they earmarked for starting a family and possibly even launching a foundation for couples undergoing IVF treatments down the road.
Guy, like I can't get mad at that.
It got them a seat at their ceremony, the party bus, and then like steak and lobster dinner. So it was a nice wedding.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna.
If you had
I pass.
But you had a nice wedding. Like if the guests had steak and like. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh, I spent $333 and I went to, even if it was a nice venue in Southern California and you just had your normal wedding and I spent $330. No, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed.
No, I just can't. Because you know what, though? And this is probably just me, but like, I don't even have people over to my house without having it be really nice for people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I don't even have a afternoon barbecue with my besties without having drinks and food and like I don't expect anyone to bring a
because
thing
you're
if
hosting,
I've invited.
Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if the couple is like, "No, I'm not hosting." Help me.
Hey,
help me.
Sound off in the comment.
Give me some cash.
Sound off.
Give me some cash. Help me throw this fucking awesome rager of a party. Don't buy me a gift. Now, granted, I would say no to $330. I would be the guest and be like, yo, good luck. I'm gonna send you a gift, and I'm not going to this wedding.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. But if I had enough money, or the price was whatever I thought was reasonable, because who knows, whatever the fuck other people's budgets are.
Yeah.
Somebody else might say 300. You're so pissed right now. You're like, hell
no.
No.
You know what? No, that's why I said sound off in the comments. I could be, you know what? I could be in the minority on this. Maybe everyone thinks this is a great idea.
Kyle's a lime. I'm 100% in the minority. I know it.
But
I'm just
think it's rude and awful, and I would not only not go to that wedding, I would never be friends with that person again. Period. I'd be like, well, thank you for showing me
I'm already married.
who you are. Yeah, because you would.
I would take that idea. I'd be like,
we would no longer.
I'd be like, guys, this is actually a fire idea. Now, $330. No, I would say like $50. Don't buy me a gift.
What do you? You know what? We're moving on. Okay. The next ChatGPT trend is eco-friendly practices. Sustainability is a priority, with couples choosing eco-conscious options like digital invitations, locally sourced flowers, and minimizing waste throughout their celebrations. So, I mean, I really like this one. I really want to do a whole episode on sustainable weddings.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Because this is definitely a thing. I wonder how much it's a thing
I
feel
like I need help with ideas. So please, at least for me, I don't know a bunch of ways how to make it sustainable.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's one particular planner, shout out Belinda at Opus Events, who this is like what she specializes in. She will make
Opus Events sounds very familiar.
Opus Events, yeah. She will make your entire wedding like completely green, like no waste, like literally the fucking trash is compostable, all the leftover food.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, all the flowers are local, no styrofoam in the floor. Like there's a lot that goes into it. And I think what's hard is that like a lot of those pieces are more expensive.
Yeah. Like you want to go green is like saying you're eating organic. You just know you're spending 25% more on literally everything just because you have a heart.
Which is unfortunate. Yeah. And I can't remember the exact stat, but they say each wedding like produces at least 400 pounds of trash or something, which I think is probably pretty accurate.
And I'd say 399 pounds of it was flowers.
Well, I know. Well, we all know how you feel about wastefulness. Yeah. So I think that, you know, it just depends. It's such a thing in LA. I wonder if it's such a thing in a lot of other parts of the country. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's me pigeonholing and thinking that.
Of all the Desi weddings I've done, those are extravagant, and there's a lot of pieces that I know for sure is not recyclable or reused. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say florals because I know everybody knows I dump shit on flowers.
Florals aren't necessarily like bad for the environment. It's more of the way that the flowers themselves are sourced and the way that the like structures are built and stuff like that. Yes. So flowers in and of themselves are not sustainable.
Yes.
Yeah, but
it's more of the business.
Yeah, but are you finding the florist that's only finding the local flowers and are not getting their freaking peonies from Peru? Like it's really, really challenging.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's a market too. Like I know everybody. I know I talk shit on flowers, but like I also know and respect anyone that wants to spend $50,000 to $100,000 on just a floral arrangement for their crazy ass wedding. You got the money, you want to do it, it's your wedding. Yeah. Who am I to say no? Don't do it. Course, you know what I mean? Do whatever you want. Just like how couples that I still shoot will still do a cake cutting. Even though I know you didn't even want to do it. I know you still did. I didn't put it in the film. But you still do it. You know, I just accept it. Yeah, I just accept it. I'll record it. I'll record it and I'll put it in your raw. But I don't put it in the film.
Really it's just funny. Well, I think with the eco-friendly thing, you know, it's something, if this is something that is important to you, you know, seeking out vendors that do specialize in it, because there are. I know, at least in our area, vendors of every single category that specialize in this: bar, cater, plan, florals, etc. But I also think what's kind of good to think about is if this is something that's important to you, but it's very overwhelming or this feels too expensive, you can just do two things and you're still making an impact. If you just chose the digital invitations and to use only glassware instead of any plastic cups, great. Impact. That's not nothing.
Yes,
you know?
That is something. It was still a decision that you actively made to go through. Yes.
So there are, like, it's kind of like, I mean, with a lot of just habits in life, you know, it doesn't have to go 100 or just be like, oh, well, we just didn't, it was too hard. So we just said not at all.
Well, like even too, I think of how you can be recycle or reuse or repurpose is where your venue is. you can go as far as what a lot of people did during COVID is instead of having a wedding at a venue, they just invested the money in the house that they had and made their backyards better.
That's true.
So they spent, instead of spending 60 to 70,000, 60 or more, you know, I don't know, however weddings average cost in Southern California.
Yeah.
But instead of spending that money on a venue and like all the rentals and the chairs and the linens and everything else, like you can reapply that if you happen to be fortunate enough to have a home and a yard, like you can reinvest, because there's so many couples even past COVID that have done this, like, where they're like, you know what,
agree.
We bought a house.
I literally have done. I mean, we do a lot of backyard weddings, but so I totally agree.
You want to save money and be resourceful and talk about bang for your buck. Reinvest that fucking money in your own property.
I agree. I just did a wedding, and they ended up like putting in these like cool permanent string lights and this whole sound system in the backyard, which cost money obviously, but it was still cheaper than they would have paid for a venue. And now they have that in their backyard forever. Yeah.
And you've raised the value of the house. Yeah.
No, I love that. I think that's really good. And that also kind of leads into another one of ChatGPT's things, which was local and nostalgic venues. Couples are favoring hometown or personally significant locations for their weddings, such as their homes. But also I was thinking, I'm actually planning a couple of weddings right now for couples where it's just at their favorite restaurant. And I think restaurant weddings are totally underrated.
They're very intimate. They're fun.
So they fucking really fun. They are typically less expensive by like a lot. Yes. And if food and drinks are something that's important to you, which for a lot of people it is,
a restaurant's
gonna be better. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be good. Usually the restaurant itself is already beautiful, right? Yep. So the only thing usually that's like, I don't know, wouldn't be a downside per se, but the layout is not as typical, right? You're not gonna have like the big rounds and a big dance floor and stuff like that.
Yeah. There are the cons in most restaurants.
But in this case, I just did a walkthrough this really cool venue in Highland Park. And it's a bar. It's a straight up bar. Yeah. And so it's like booths. The bar is like big in the middle. I mean, we're kind of clearing an area for a dance floor. It's super non-traditional. Yeah. But it's fucking gorgeous. The couple's doing nothing. Like, we're bringing in like no decor because it doesn't need it.
Because it doesn't need it. It's a restaurant. The restaurant has the vibe.
Yes. And it's just going to be such a fun party.
That's awesome.
And it's like their favorite restaurant in their neighborhood. And so
I fucking love that.
Yeah. So that's a really good way to be sustainable, authentic. You know, you're saving money, but you're also creating an experience for guests that's different.
I'll tell you what, too. I know the local business appreciates it, too.
Yes, and it's good. Yes, local business.
100%. And if it's I just thought of this, too. Like, say if it was like Steph and I love going to, what's one of the restaurants that we like going to? What's the Italian one in Newport? Why am I drawing a big blank?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. God damn. Anyway. There's a restaurant in Newport that we really like to go to. Mama D's.
Oh, yes.
We like to go to Mama D's. Yeah, so Steph and I like to go to Mama D's in Newport. And if that happened to be a place where we wanted to like throw a small wedding or something like that, now the owners would absolutely remember Stephanie and Kyle. And Kyle's absolutely going to remember the owners. And if we always go there, guess what? You have that lifelong connection now. That special little hotspot location, right? Like whenever you go to dinner, who knows if the chef is always going to remember you, and you get your extra thing of cookies. You know, I'm getting all sappy and sentimental, but that's the videographer in me, at least. I'm the candid dude.
It's really, it's absolutely sentimental and just more like genuine. I think it's really cool.
No, that's awesome. I like the idea. What was the other restaurant recently I've shot at twice now is Five Crowns.
Oh yeah.
Five Crowns is gorgeous over there
Five Crowns is really great. They have more of like an event space, which a lot of restaurants do, and that's also like important.
But it's still small though. Like,
it is.
You can't
it still
do
feels
a big wedding.
It's not a big ballroom, but
you're in a restaurant. Like there's still the speakeasy downstairs, or like they still have a little patio outside, but like you're in a restaurant. It's cozy.
I think it's cool. Yeah. I mean, and as a guest, I would rather go to a restaurant or a wedding at a bar than at some like cookie cutter ballroom where I'm gonna eat dry chicken and whatever. I think it's good.
Restaurant, good idea.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one, I'm going to kind of combine a couple here and sort of, again, feeding off what we were just talking about, but immersive guest experiences. So there's a trend towards creating interactive and memorable experiences for guests, such as themed receptions, personalized favors, and engaging entertainment. So again, it's kind of finding those pieces that are interesting, that are different, that guests will remember. And I say this a lot, like even on my sales calls to like new potential clients, is I'm like, this isn't just about you guys. Like I love when, this is about you, make it about you. And yes, that's true. But if it was just about you, you'd probably go elope or do something, whatever. Like this is a big day for your family. This is a big day for your friends. You're probably not paying for all of it. Like there are a lot of other factors, and more than likely your overall guest experience should be very, very high on your list. Yep. And you can incorporate your own personal details, but how is that going to how's it going to flow? A flow, and are your guests even going to appreciate it, or are they just going to be like, this is like fucking weird, you know? So how can you create immersive guest experiences?
Think of it like I don't know. I think weddings, and maybe this is just me being high, is a wedding for most people just viewed as like, oh, I'm going to go sit down, I'm going to have a drink, and then I'm going to go sit down again and then dance. Versus thinking it more of like an actual event with a plan, and like we say there's a timeline. So we know there's a run of show throughout the day, and we know there's a wedding going on, but I think there's a big opportunity missed in just the mindset of, yes, a wedding is the day that you got married, but it really is a show if you want it to be. Yeah. It really can be a whole different experience. A whole production or a whole show, or like where everything is significant, whether if it was like the sign and the photo that you used when you walked in. That could be when you first got together, the first photo that you have together. And then later on you can have another, like you can make it intentional in however you want it, or you can make it as bland, I guess, and simple as you want. But try to at least remember, for couples out there, just try to remember that there's a lot of opportunities.
There's a lot of opportunities. Yeah. And I think just thinking outside the box. So this kind of went into this other one, which they're related but not, but I also thought this was weird. Sports themed celebrations that's like the title. Sporty couples are integrating their passion into their weddings, from scuba diving ceremonies to incorporating favorite team mascots, creating unique and memorable events. So, I mean, I have actually had a lot of weddings, include a lot of sports things.
I think it's weird to hear about it, but then I actually think about it, I'm like, people live and breathe for their
and breathe their teams. Like, yes.
And an LA Dodgers fan, or an Angels fan, a Yankees fan, like them. You just know them.
There is, I did a wedding. They were big Dodgers fans. The groom changed into his jersey later. The bride put a jersey on too. And instead of the cake cutting, they sang the 7th inning stretch.
That's hilarious.
And it was really cute. Awesome. Really, really cute.
Yeah, you just lean into it.
Yeah.
Just lean into it.
I think that's, a fun way to do it. But this does have like a New York Post article attached to it. So we'll link it. But where they have like the actual mascots like coming in the wedding. Like the full fluffy-headed things.
Yo, okay, so one of the best mascots I've ever seen perform is Benny the Bull for the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. He's by far the greatest mascot.
Oh, like, is he a good dancer?
He's a great dancer. He's very entertaining. Anyway, super random. Sorry for that, everybody.
No, that's quite all right. But I think, again, that just goes in line with like, what a fun, like people are going to remember that. Like the whole 100 people singing the 7th inning stretch at a wedding. Yeah. Really fun. It doesn't have to be sports oriented, but how can we create these different experiences?
Slideshows even. Those are fun. I like seeing those during dinner time. Yeah. Like, what was it? Is it Valentine or Grass Room? And
they have big screens.
Millwick or whatever. Yeah, they have big screens. Like you have a big projector and you just play a slideshow of like your whole relationship. Like, I don't think I've ever been disappointed when I see a slideshow, because I know quality sucks. Yeah. And I'm only looking at it for nostalgic purposes. Yeah, but it is cute. You know what I mean? It's super cute, but
it is cute. If there's an opportunity for sure. Well, and I think the last thing I'll say about it too is like, so yes, creating special things, also thinking about your timeline and how to make it non-traditional. Like we have a clip on Instagram like going viral right now for us talking about doing a cocktail hour before the ceremony.
Oh yeah.
And it's gotten like hate and love on the comments, but just this idea of fucking up fucking with the timeline
just fuck with them.
Yeah.
Why not get married at the end of the
why
not get fucking married at the end of the night?
You're all drunk.
Like everybody's drunk, everybody's plastered. Well, I mean, you probably for like consent. You probably can't be too drunk and too plastered.
Hey, they do it in Vegas at those chapels. People have got to be fucked
That's
up.
right. Never mind. You don't need consent. You just need to agree.
I mean, general consent, but I don't think
sure,
they care
general.
if you're
Maybe just say it in the morning. Like just sign the paper. Actually, just sign it in the morning, and then just everything else is a fake play. Yeah.
Well, I just think it's funny. It's like just those small things of like mixing up your timeline. I don't know, creating something that is a little bit different that people aren't expecting will be the memorable thing that everyone will remember and talk about.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, those are your ChatGPT 2025 trends to think about.
Oh, we have plenty of more, so we'll put them down. I'll just copy and paste this whole fucking chat and put it in the description on YouTube.
It'll be in the show notes.
It'll be in the show notes. Show notes. I feel so proper when I say show notes.
You're a show note. And cheers to that.
Cheers.
And we will
see you on a Tuesday.
See you some Tuesday.
Peace.